How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about the top 5 things every person in their 20s should do so you can reach your full potential and achieve your goals. If this is your first time here, this channel is all about personal finance, investing, real estate, and self-improvement. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. Let's jump right into the number one thing you should do while you're in your 20s, and that is to find what you're passionate about, what interests you, and what direction you want to go in. This must be decided by you and only you, because if you start asking other people or they begin to tell you their opinions, you're going to be doubting yourself and second guessing your choices. You also don't want to give much attention to what your parents say. Now, I'm sure you love your parents, but after a certain point in your life, they don't always know what's best for you. Sure, when you were 2 years old and your mom told you not to eat the Lego piece, or when she told you not to go and cut your hair with scissors because you wanted short hair like your doll, she knew what was best for you. But once you get into your late teens and early 20s, you will have developed your own passions and your own interests, which may or may not align with those of your parents. Most parents want their kids to go to Yale or Harvard and become a doctor or lawyer. The problem is that most kids don't have interest in following that path. Maybe you've always been fascinated with the ocean and sea animals, so you decide to pursue a career in oceanography. Sounds pretty cool and interesting, but I don't know that many parents will be encouraging of their son or daughter doing that, especially because it's not a common or popular career path. Another example is if you're someone who's interested in business and you want to build your own business like Google or Amazon. Most parents might discourage you from doing that because there's too much risk. There was actually an article I read a while back. I can't remember the exact details, but it talked about how many entrepreneurs don't encourage their kids to follow in their footsteps and build their own businesses because they know how much of a struggle it was and the amount of risk involved. Many business owners went through some hard times when they were just starting off. You hear many of these now successful people talk about how they slept in their car and how they only had $10 in their pocket at one point. So being familiar with that, they prefer their kids go to college and get a high-paying job which they perceive as more secure. During your late teens and early 20s, you don't have any life experience, so it's easy to do what your teachers tell you, what your parents tell you, or what the majority of people are doing. And this is exactly what happened to me. Even though I had a good idea of what I wanted, I didn't have the confidence to go after that early on. Now luckily for me, I was able to realize this before it was too late, but I still think about the 2 or 3 years I lost doing something I didn't want, but ended up doing it because that's what everyone was telling me to do and that's what most people were doing. So I would say it's better to follow your interests and your dreams, even if that means you make some mistakes, because you will learn from them and it will bring you closer to your goals. Also, it's better to start while you are young than start when you're much older with a family and major responsibilities, or even worse, never getting started and die regretting it. Now, it's important to mention that you shouldn't use this as an excuse to go through your 20s without really accomplishing anything or working towards any of your goals. Sure, going backpacking through Asia or Africa sounds cool, but this is you not knowing what you want to do with your life, so you just do something to make yourself feel like you're getting somewhere. This is the same as someone who is unhappy at their current job, but they choose to stay because they don't have the motivation to go out and make the change. Both of these people are just doing what needs to be done to get by and wasting time. The clock never stops ticking whether you're 20 or 80 years old, and many young people are told, oh, you have plenty of time. No, you don't have plenty of time, because before you know it, you'll be 50 and you'll feel like you never accomplished anything. So if you know what you want to do at 20, then why wouldn't you do that? If that's the thing that gets you excited, then the sooner you start, the more time you'll have and the better off you'll be. The second thing you should do in your 20s is focus on yourself. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, the way social media is, it's not hard to be exposed to different people flexing their cars or their exotic vacations. I mean, YouTube and Instagram is filled with teenagers and people in their 20s driving around in Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and it's hard not to feel like you're a failure because people younger than you have all these crazy things. And then here you are, sitting in front of your computer without any clue what you're going to do with your life. Even if you already have some success, there's always going to be someone who's going to have more. You could be driving around in a $100,000 Mercedes and then someone pulls up in a Lamborghini, and then you feel bad because this person has a more expensive car than you. But that person in the Lamborghini Huracan will feel the exact same way when the next person shows up with an Aventador. But it doesn't stop there, because guess what? The next person is going to have a Mercedes, 2 Lamborghinis, a Ferrari, and a Bentley. So it just becomes this never-ending cycle of trying to one-up each other, and it's all about ego. If you let yourself get caught in this cycle, then your only focus becomes flexing harder than the next guy, and you lose focus of what's actually important. The last thing you want is to get so caught up in this cycle that you begin to neglect your business or the thing that got you to where you are. If instead of taking profit from your business and reinvesting it to grow that business, you begin to milk it so you can buy a bigger house, some more cars, and take a private jet to Bora Bora, then eventually your business is going to fail and you'll be left with nothing. Another thing to remember is that many of these people who are posting about taking vacations every month, or who show off their 5 Gucci bags and 4 Chanel bags, aren't actually winning at life. You don't actually know these people, you don't know what they do for a living, you don't know anything about them other than what they choose to post on social media. For all you know, that person can be thousands of dollars in debt because they feel they need to prove something to other people. And funding vacations with debt is one of the dumbest financial mistakes anyone can make. So instead of focusing on what other people have, what they post on social media, and getting caught in this never ending cycle, you need to redirect all that energy to yourself and work on building that business, work on building your investment portfolio, and work on yourself. Tip number 3 you should follow during your 20s is to take care of your body. Think about it, if your health fails, it can affect everything else that's going on in your life. Anything from minor health issues like headaches to major issues like heart problems can really impact your happiness and stress levels. When you start taking care of your body, any excess weight begins to go away, you begin to look younger, and your skin begins to clear up. But the best part is that by taking care of your body, your chances of getting an illness will be reduced. If you're someone who is overweight, then you have a higher chance of getting some type of heart disease, which can really impact your life in the future. Not only will this affect your overall quality of life, but it will have negative effects on your family, your kids, your work, and it becomes a chain reaction. If your job requires some form of physical movement and over time your health goes downhill, then your productivity and quality of work will also go downhill, which can lead to losing your job. Or if you catch an illness out of nowhere and you end up spending weeks or months in the hospital, then you aren't working, which will affect your finances in one way or another. Simple things like reducing the amount of fatty food you eat, eating more fruits and vegetables, drinking more water, exercising, and getting a good night's sleep can really help your immune system and reduce the number of illnesses you get. If you take care of your body during your 20s, then that positive effect will carry over into your work, your family, and your older self. Tip number 4 is that you need to control your finances. You must avoid going into debt. There's so many young people who don't understand the consequences this will have on their entire life. This is especially true if you're in your late teens and you go to college and take out all kinds of student loans. If you take out a few thousand in loans because you have no other option and you're very serious about the career path you're going to follow, then it's not the end of the world. What I'm talking about is when you have no clue what you want to do with your life and you're just taking random classes to explore options and you're paying for those classes with debt. Because then it's just going to weigh you down later on in life. First of all, half those classes you were taking might not even count towards the degree you ultimately decide to get. And I hear people say they took the classes for the knowledge, but I guarantee you that a year later, you won't remember 99% of the things you learned. Then you have people who take out tens of thousands of dollars in loans for a degree that pays nothing or for a field that has a decreasing job demand. So in general, try to avoid collecting debt at all costs and instead, try to find other ways to pay for school or whatever you need to pay for. And if you must take out loans for school, then be smart about it and only take out the bare minimum you need to get by, and don't use that money to go shopping. Now if you're watching this and you already have some debt, whether it's student loans or credit card debt, then you should make a priority to pay that debt off. There's no point in putting it off thinking that one day it will all disappear. You must take active steps to bring that debt down. Tip number 5 is that you must make investing for retirement a priority. About 2 out of every 3 Americans don't contribute to a retirement account, and I'm sure that number is even greater with young people. Starting to invest into a 401k early on can be the difference between retiring a multimillionaire and being able to travel and do whatever you want versus spending your golden years working random jobs just to survive. Not to mention that 401ks offer great benefits, like the money you contribute to a 401k is not taxable and your employer may match your contributions up to a certain percentage or dollar amount. You should also focus on investing in assets outside of your retirement account like stocks and real estate. A retirement account is a good start, but it may not be enough depending on your goals. If you have kids and they want to go to college, then it doesn't make sense to withdraw money from your 401k because of the penalties. But selling some of your stock in a normal trading account or using your real estate to pay for college makes more sense. Also, you need to wait until you reach retirement age to begin using the money in your 401k, which isn't the case with stocks or real estate. If you own property and you want to take a long vacation, then you can use the rental income to pay for that vacation instead of putting it on a credit card. If you get sick and can't work your normal job, then at least you have income from real estate or dividends. Owning stocks and real estate will provide you with a more comfortable life and give you more freedom than someone who hasn't invested outside of their retirement account. If you follow this basic advice and you take action, you'll be much more successful than the average person. So stop waiting around for a golden opportunity to land on your lap because it won't happen. So get out there and make it happen. If you made it to the end of this video, leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are and I'll be sure to reply. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.